Hi and welcome to this yoga practice for equanimity. Equanimity is a sense of balance. It's a sense of inner stillness despite what may be going on in the world around you, or even your own thoughts can be met with a state of equanimity. Like how a lake might be stirred up on the surface by the wind, deep down it is still and cool and quiet and calm, and we can think of that for ourselves in the same way. So I invite you today through this practice to really take that point of view when the yoga poses are challenging. Can you keep coming back to that sense of inner stillness, that equanimity, lack of judgment, whether something's good or bad. So if that resonates with you, I invite you to set that as your intention today, to find that balance, find that equanimity. So we won't need any props. This is a flowy, all levels practice. Take it at your own pace, and let's start in this seated position here. So just take this moment to come into your breath, breathing in and out smoothly through the nose, and taking this moment here to set aside whatever else is going on in your day, whatever state your mind is in. Don't try to change it. Don't judge it. Just let it all be exactly as it is, and bring your focus onto your breath. So now just gently start to bring some movement into your head and neck, stretching out the neck, noticing any points that feel extra tight, and just giving them that extra moment to stretch out. And then you can start to roll the shoulders and just check in with the shoulders. How are they feeling? Roll them forwards and then roll them back. Good, and then draw really tall on your sitting bones. Take your right fingers over to your right side. Reach up and over with that left arm. Find a side stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths here, right into that side body. And taking an inhale. As you exhale, switch sides. Finding that side stretch in this direction now. Maybe you look up to really help your chest stay open. And then bring it into the center and around onto your hands and knees, taking that tabletop position, wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and just finding balance. If you're familiar with Mula Bandha, start to find it. So engaging your pelvic floor, the space behind your belly button, pull it up, and then we'll move into a cat and cow. So as you inhale, open up the chest, and as you exhale, round the back and press the floor away. With your own breath now, inhaling and exhaling to round. Good, we're going to move into a few balancing postures today, and balancing postures can really be that time where we come up against some frustration or some self-judgment. So today I invite you to really find that inner stillness, even when you feel a little wobbly. So now taking the right leg back behind you, don't let that right hip open, keep it square. If this is enough, you're just going to hug it in with that knee and then lengthen it out. Otherwise, you can add in the opposite arm as well. So left arm will reach as the right leg goes back, and then the elbow and the knee come together. So remembering you can bring the hand down at any time, and moving with your breath, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to round. Feel those wobbles, smile and breathe through them, and then we'll hold it in that extension. And start to bring the right knee out to the side, left elbow into the side body, and then lengthen forward again. We'll do that a couple more times, bending out to the side and lengthening forward. Last one, bend out to the side, push into that right shoulder. And now from here, begin to lift your left arm and your right foot. Hug that heel towards your bottom, and then grab for your foot if you can reach it, and find a quad stretch here. So you're pulling on the foot towards you and finding that stretch, finding a deep breath. If this is enough, stay here. If you feel ready and warmed up enough to kick up into a tiger pose, then you can go for that now. So kicking the foot into the hand and lifting the knee high to open up your chest. Finding your breath, finding your balance. And then exhaling to come out with control and bringing it back to center. Let's just sit back to the heels, and you can stretch out your wrists here. So taking the backs of the hands in front of you and just feeling that wrist stretch. And then taking it back the other way. And then when you're ready, we'll go over to that other side. So now your left leg will go back. Maybe you're just doing it with the leg today, or maybe you can extend your right arm as well. Here, find your drishti, your focus. So drishti is a point we gaze at, but it's also that inner focus on the breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, elbow in the knee, or just the knee draws into the nose. Inhale, stretch it long. Exhale, round. And again, stretch and round. Good, stretch it forward now and take the elbow to the side body. Take your left knee to your left ribs and reach forward again. So a couple more, bending into that side body, finding so much grace, so much stillness as you move. Now lengthen your right arm back behind you. Hug your left heel towards you. Find that strength in your left hamstring to bring the heel to your bottom. And then pull on the foot to find that quad stretch. Push the floor away with your left shoulder. And then again, either just staying in that stretch or maybe beginning to kick up into your tiger pose. Maybe your gaze stays forward, or you can even look up. And then when you're ready, coming out with as much control as you came in with. Nice. And then we'll just take it back to a child's pose. So I'm obviously keeping my head up so you can hear me, but tuck your chin, lengthen the back of your neck. Breathe space into your lower body, into your hips, into your lower back. And then from there, walk your hands forward, tuck your toes under. We'll take it back to downward dog here. So your first downward facing dog. Just keep as much of a bend in the knees as you need. Trying to make that A-frame shape with the body, grounding into the hands, pushing down through the heels. And then walk your feet back and slightly closer together. So you're in a long variation of this downward dog. Inhale, round forward, find a plank position. Exhale, push back, downward dog. Good, moving through these waves with the spine. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, move back, building that warmth in the body, warming up the shoulders, come forward and push it back. Good. Bring it forward again here. Inhale, and then as you exhale, lower all the way to the mat with control. Bring it down onto your belly. And take the hands into a T shape, turning your head over towards your right side. Pick up your right foot now. We're going for a scorpion stretch. Bring it behind you for a twist. Stay strong in your Mula Bandha, so pull your pelvic floor up to support your spine here. Take a couple of full breaths. And then bring it over to the other side, rolling your head over the other way. And then picking up your foot, sending it behind you, reaching long with the arms. Good, and then on an exhale, bring it into the center, and we'll push it up through a tabletop position and back to downward facing dog. From here, lift your right leg high. Bring it all the way forward, step it as far forward as you can, coming to a low lunge. Inhale in your lunge and gaze up. Exhale to step forward and fold forward at the top of the mat. Now lengthen through the spine, rise up to standing, reach into the fingers. Exhale and lower, hands to heart center. Take a full breath in and a long exhale out. Inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe into halfway lift. Lower your fingers, step back on your right foot and bring your right knee down. Inhale in your lunge. And then plant the hands and step back to plank. Take a full breath in here. Exhale and lower knees, whole body or just the chest and chin, keeping the pelvis lifted. Inhale, come forward. Cobra pose, pull the elbows back. And exhale to push back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a long exhale. Good, now inhale, stretch your left leg up. Keep the hips square. Bring it forward, step it between the hands, and bring your right knee down. Inhale in your low lunge. Exhale, step forward, fold into the legs. Breathe and rise up to standing, reach into the fingers. Exhale and lower hands to the heart. Full breath in, long breath out. And the left side now, stretch out and up. Exhale, fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Lower the fingers, step back on the left foot into your low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, step back to plank. Take a full breath in. Exhale and lower knees. Chest and chin, pelvis stays high. Hips stay high. Inhale, bring it forward. Open up the chest. And exhale to push back to downward facing dog. If you need more rest, if you need a child's pose, take it at any time. Do what you need to find equanimity, to find balance. So from this downward dog now, we're going to add in a little more challenge, a little more heat, and really testing out that balance here. So inhale, lift your right leg high. Bring it forward, step it between the hands for a runner's lunge. So your back leg stays lifted this time. Inhale, find length, find strength in the legs, and then rise up to your high crescent lunge. All 10 toes facing forward, back leg is straight. Gaze ahead of you, find a point to gaze at, your drishti, and then finding balance here. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, float forward onto that front leg for a warrior 3 position. Find a breath, and then we're going to go back into that high lunge. 2 more times just like that. Find that inner stillness as you challenge your body to float forward into this standing balance. 1 more time, back into that lunge and forward to warrior 3. Push down through the whole sole of that right foot And then from there, with control, bring your fingertips to the mat in front of you and start to kick your left leg up into a standing split position. Your forehead can come towards your knee. See if that helps you bring the left leg higher. Good, finding that balance. And then from there, step your left foot back, plant the hands, step your right foot into that plank. Take an inhale, shift the shoulders forward. Option to bring the knees down or stay on the toes. Lower through the elbows, hover off the mat. And then push into the hands for upward facing dog. Lift the thighs and knees off the mat. And then exhale to push back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. And we're doing that on the other side. Left leg will lift, inhale. And bring it forward into your runner's lunge, fingertips to the mat. Lift your right thigh to the ceiling and float up to high crescent lunge. Find your steadiness. Think of that lake, cool and still and calm under a choppy surface. With your exhale, float forward, warrior 3, and 2 more times. Good. On that third one, hold your warrior 3, breathe, square the hips, and then start to lower your fingers and lift that right heel towards the sky. See if you bow your head down, can you bring that right leg higher, stretch into those right toes. Find your breath and then bring both hands to the mat, walk it back to plank. We're taking our flow here. Feel free to skip it if that's what you need. Shift the shoulders forward, elbows go back and in, and then lift onto the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. Exhale, find downward facing dog. Just taking a few deep breaths in downward dog or in child's pose if you prefer. Now that we know the sequence, let's do it again. Really embody our flow now. So try and move with your own breath as much as you can. Meeting back in downward dog when you're ready. Inhale, stretch your right leg high. Bring it forward, step it between the hands. Fingertips either side of that front foot, and then rise up with strength, high crescent lunge. Inhale here, exhale, floats you forward into warrior 3, and 2 more. Step back with confidence, float forward with control. Maybe it will get easier for you as you do it, maybe it will feel more challenging as you get tired. Hold your warrior 3 now, and then lower the hands and kick that left leg up. Can you bring it higher than last time? Can you go inward a little more? And then plant your hands, walk it back to plank, and take your vinyasa down into chaturanga, up to upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. Good. Taking a little breath to reset. And then with your inhale, stretch your left leg up. Bring it all the way forward, step it between the hands. Right thigh lifts to the sky. Inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms beside you, float forward. 2 more. Step it back and float it forward. And last one. Good, holding your standing splits now, and then holding your warrior 3 now, and then reaching down with your fingers, kicking up with that right leg. This is such a good posture to build strength and flexibility. They work together. Lift, lift, lift with that back foot, point the toes, Find even more straightening. And then this time, and one more time, stepping your feet back into plank. Take your vinyasa. Up to upward dog. Back to downward facing dog. Find that full breath. Good, so now step your left foot forward, but not as far as you would for a lunge, so just a bit shorter, and then your right heel will come down to an angle for pyramid pose, so your hips square forward. Inhale to find length through the spine, and then as you exhale, hinge forward over that front leg. You can use some blocks or whatever you have around you to support your hands, or just fingertips to the mat there. Or maybe it feels good to you and you can balance and reach back behind you, interlace the fingers to feel this shoulder opening at the same time. Again, if your hands are off the mat, this is a chance to steady your gaze somewhere or to steady your focus on your breath. Feeling all those little wobbles going on in the body and staying still and finding that equanimity in the pose. Good, and then start to lift up. Turn your left toes in so that you're facing the long edge of your mat. So all 10 toes facing inwards. Take an inhale to grow long, and then as you exhale, hinge forward into your wide-legged forward fold. You can tuck your chin. You can grab opposite elbows if that feels good, or even reach for your big toes or your ankles to pull you closer to the legs. And finding those deep, long breaths. Now we'll bring it around to the other side. So your right foot will be facing the front and your left foot will be at an angle now. So we're in pyramid facing the other way. Again, readjust your feet until they feel like they're in the right spot so your hips can square forward. And then you can reach behind you again for that shoulder opening, or just take any position with the hands that feels good to you. Maybe you like to reach the fingers back towards that back edge of the mat. Just really using these long holds to go inwards. Good. And then when you're ready, bring it back into the center. Heel toe your feet towards each other, and then turn the toes out and the heels in, and sit yourself down into your yogi squat. If your heels don't reach the mat, that's okay. Just feel as though you're pushing the weight backwards and down, and then you can use your hands to support you. Or if your heels feel comfortable on the mat, then you can bring your hands to a prayer position and just give your hips a little bit of movement side to side. Good. And then when you're ready, sit back down to the mat and bring yourself over onto your back. I'm going to put my socks back on because I'm really cold. Okay, so down onto your back And now you have the option to take Varapita Karani, which is just a legs up the wall position, which really helps to drain lymph and blood flow, and just really amazing for digestion. And it's a gentle way to invert the body. If you would like to take a stronger inversion, then you can go for a headstand or a handstand, or do whatever you want to do. I'm going to take shoulder stand today, so bringing my knees into my chest and trying to get my hips right above my shoulders, lengthening the legs up to the sky. And then if you're in the shoulder stand, you might like to take different variations with the legs. And maybe even come over into a plow pose, bringing the toes behind you. Halasana. Maybe you can reach for your feet. If you're in shoulder stand, make sure there's space between the back of the neck and the floor, and space between the chin and the chest. We don't want to be over compressing the front of the neck. Maybe you can come to deaf man's pose, bringing your knees to your shoulders, to your ears. And then whenever you're ready to come out, if you're in this shoulder stand, start to roll down really slowly, really, really slowly. You can support your back with your hands, and then return to an L-shaped. So just to that legs up position, you can hold your thighs and just take this moment to let your spine come back to neutral. And then bend your knees and plant your feet into the mat. If you feel ready for a back bend, then join me by lifting your hips to the sky, opening up the belly and the front of the chest, and you can walk your shoulders together underneath you. Really lift the hips, keep your thighs parallel. And find your breath here. Check in on your mind. If it's wandered, keep coming back to your breath. And then you can gently roll down onto your back. And take your hips over to one side and your knees over to the other side. And then bring your arms out into a T shape for a gentle twist. If you want a little more, you can wrap legs around each other to just feel that twist a little more deeply. Taking these deep, full breaths. And whenever you're ready, move yourself over to the other side, gently taking your twist the other way. And then from there, on an exhale, bring yourself into the center and get yourself really comfy for Shavasana. Take your feet nice and wide apart, let your toes drop out to the side, and then bring your hands down by your sides with the palms facing upwards. For Shavasana, the corpse position. If you're someone that always stops the video at this point, today I really encourage you to gift yourself this moment of stillness. It's just a minute or two. And it's really what the practice is leading up to, is this stillness. So now let go of your breath, let go of any attachment to anything, and just give yourself this moment to be totally still. Now you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Now you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Turn your head from side to side. And gently, slowly make your way over to one side and just rest on your side for a moment. Whenever you're ready, push yourself up sideways to your seated position. And just take a moment to find that tall spine. And a couple of really deep breaths. Remember that if you have felt any sense of calm or peace in this practice today, or any sense of equanimity, know that you had this all along. This is your true nature. You are calm, you are peace, you are love, and you can come back to that at any time that you need. Bring your hands to heart center, bow your head, and thank yourself for practicing yoga today. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me. I really hope that you loved this practice and you enjoyed challenging your balance. If you did enjoy it, please do leave me a comment and let me know what you would love to see next. Give the video a like, it helps my channel so much, and it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe so you never miss a video. I will see you very soon. Have a beautiful day.